grade 9s, we are going to look at the topic which is algebraic expressions. We're going to look at algebraic expressions, for which you have to know the important fundamentals so that you are able to answer the questions in your examination. So to start with, what are algebraic expressions? You have to know the difference. You're going to be dealing with algebraic expressions and algebraic equations. So an expression, let's take for argument's sake, we have 2x. When we have coefficients and variables, 2x, so we can say 3x squared plus 4x, it's an expression, or 5y plus 3, 6x squared, just like that. Those are expressions. But immediately when we have example 2x plus 4 is equal to 0, then when there's an equal sign there, it's no longer an expression, but it is referred to as an equation. It's an equation, not an expression. So let us look at algebraic expressions. You have to know the terminology first. The terms that we use, let me not use terms, let me say terminology, because I know there is a weird term in this topic, algebraic expressions. I don't want you to be confused. Alright, let us start with the first one. You have to know what is a variable. You have to know what is a variable. A variable, the variables are the letters. Are the letters in an expression. We refer to those as variables. Example, x, y, z, w, a, b, just like that. All the letters are referred to as variables in this topic, algebraic expressions. Then we have the second one, which is a coefficient. A coefficient is a number that comes before a variable. That number is known as a coefficient. For example, if you can use 2x, the 2 there, that number that comes before the variable, remember we said x is a variable, the number that comes before the variable is known as a coefficient. When you have negative 3x squared, the variable there, remember, is x, but it is raised to the exponent of 2, but still the fact remains that the number that comes before the variable is that. So that negative 3 there is the coefficient of x squared. Is the coefficient of x squared. Then 2 is the coefficient of x. You must be careful of that. And then we look at the third one. We have what is known as what is a constant term. A constant is a number without a variable. A number without a variable. For example, if you can say 2x is not, it's not a constant because there's a variable, but 6, let's take 6 is just a number without any letters surrounding it. So it means that 6 is known as a constant term. It's a constant. So constant numbers do not have variables. Then we have what is known as an exponent. An exponent is when your variable, it's a number that your variable is raised to. It's a number, let me write this here. An exponent is a number which a variable is raised to. For example, if we say x squared, that variable, we have a variable, remember x is a variable, then that number in which your variable is raised to is known as an exponent. It's an exponent. When you have xy squared, still that 2 there is the exponent of the base y, and then if there is no exponent here, remember you just put the 1 there, an invincible 1. So 1 is an exponent of the variable x. I hope it makes sense. Then we have the operators. You have to know what are the operators or the operation signs. The operators are your plus and your minus signs. Those are your operators. We call them operators in this topic. We do not refer to them as the addition sign and the subtraction sign. Then we have what is known as the terms. You have to know what are terms. Remember I mentioned when I started to say terminology, I wanted to use the word terms, but it will confuse you. Now, terms. What are terms? Terms are separated by, you can see terms by the separation. They are separated by operators, by your pluses and your minus signs. For example, if we have 3x plus 2, now to check your terms, this is a term, this is a term, because it is those two terms are separated by an operator there, which is a plus sign. So it means we've got two terms, in other words. So let's look at this one. Let's say you have negative 3x squared plus 4x minus 6. Let's check our terms. It's a term on its own. It's a term. It's a term. So they are separated by 1, 2, 3 operators. It means we've got 1, 2, and 3. So it's 3 terms. Then let's look at this one. There's no operator which is involved there. So it means that if there's no operator there, it's only one term. It's one term. So this one is one term. The last one. How many terms are there? You check the operator there. You only have one operator which separates two terms. So it means there are two terms. So that is important. So that's basically the terminology that you have to know. And then now we have important things also. You have to know what is a monomial. Oh, I forgot to mention to you guys that when you talk of this algebraic expressions, we talk of polynomials. Polynomials are algebraic expressions with more than two terms. Those are polynomials. Then when you talk of a monomial, then we have a binomial, then we have a trinomial. A monomial is an algebraic expression with one term. Binomial is an algebraic expression with two terms. So in maths, mono means one, bi means two, tri means three. So trinomials are expressions with three terms. So let's identify the above expressions as monomial, binomial, and trinomial. So remember now, they say you mentioned that it's two terms here. So when you have two terms, it means it's a binomial. This expression here, it's a binomial. Then we've got 3 terms here. When you have 3 terms, which type of an expression is it? When you have 3 terms, it's a trinomial. Then we've got 1 term. When you have 1 term, it's a monomial. It's a monomial. Then again, you've got 2 terms, which is known as a binomial. These things are very easy, guys, and they are enjoyable, so please make sure you learn the terminology first. Then lastly, I forgot to mention polynomial. Remember, I said they have more than 2 terms. So it means more than 2, not 2, more than 2. It means this is also a polynomial. Actually you can say 2 or more. Even a binomial is a polynomial. This is also a polynomial. No, I'm making a mistake. A binomial is not a polynomial. Let's stick to more than 2 terms. More than 2 means it's not 2, but it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I can just put it that way. So it means this is a polynomial. Monomial is not a polynomial. Binomial is not a polynomial. This is not a polynomial. So polynomials, remember, it's more than 3. So they can also give you 5x squared minus 6y plus 3x minus 4. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 terms. So when you've got 4 terms, you simply say polynomial. Yeah? But if it's 3 terms, just stick to saying trinomial. Thank you. And then let us look at the example. Let's say you have 3x squared minus 6x plus 9. Then we have the first question says to you, which type of expression is this expression? Which type of expression? Why do you say it's that type of an expression? So let's count our terms. Let us answer this question. We've got, so they just only leave out the minus and the plus, please. So you count 1, 2, 3. So it means you've got how many terms there? You give out your answer. We've got 3 terms. And then what happens when you have 3 terms? Oh, sorry. You start by saying which type of an expression. It's a trinomial. Why do you say so? Because it has 3 terms. Then you are done. Second question. What is the coefficient of x squared? The coefficient of x squared. Where is x squared? Where is x squared? There is x squared. So the number that comes before the x squared is 3. The number that comes before the x squared is 3. Then you write the coefficient of x squared is 3. Then you are done. What is the coefficient of x? Where is x? Here is x. The number that comes before x is, you also take the operator, it's negative 6. It's not 6, it's negative 6. If it's plus 6, you're going to write 6 only, yes. But if there's negative, please tag along the negative. Please do not forget it, because you're going to lose a mark. Then it's negative 6. Then write down the constant term. What is your constant now? Remember a constant? Let's go back. A constant is a number without a variable. Example 6 is a constant. So let's check here. What is the number that which does not have any variable attached to it? That number is number 9. It's 9. So if it's a positive, just write 9. You don't have to write plus 9. But if it's a negative, just tag along the negative. It's our rule. Tag along the negative. So it's going to be negative. Oh, sorry. This one is going to be 9. I'm making a mistake now. I'm tagging along the negative while there's no negative there. Alright, then we have number 5. Number 5, they can ask you to, what is the variable there? What is your variable there? Or write down a variable. Our variable there is x. You only have x as a variable. Sometimes the expressions might have x and y. Just look at this one. The variables here are x and y. Sometimes can be x, y, z, or a squared, or b. It depends. So just note that the variables are the letters. Then the last question that they will ask you is, if x is equals to 2, what is the value of the expression? What is the value of the expression? So step number 1, you write that expression as it is. Very, very important. So you're going to write 3x squared minus 6x plus 9. Then it means when your x is 2, you must substitute this value here in replacement of x. You put a 2. So it's going to be, just write it as it is, 3, then you open the bracket and close it, and then you write the exponent. Just in replacement of the variable, just put the brackets. Then minus 6, the coefficient, then the bracket, plus the constant, 9. Then you substitute, we call it substitution. Substitution, you substitute the value of x in replacement of the variable. You put a 2. If the question says negative 2, then you tag along the negative. But in this case, it does not say negative 2, so it's just 2. Then it's 2. Alright. Then what have I done? Okay. Then you punch this in your calculator. 3, what is 2 squared? 2 squared is 4, minus 6 times 2, which is 12, plus 9. You can use a calculator. 3 times 4 is 12, minus 12 plus 9. 12 minus 12 plus 9 is 9. But straight from this substitution, you can just punch in your calculator to get the final answer. Thank you. Please stay tuned for my next video, where I'll be discussing addition and subtraction of the algebraic expressions.